In the world of gaming, the players mainly have two separate but equally desirable experiences. One is through computational devices, taking input through buttons, joysticks, and mice, and is displayed on a screen. The other is on paper and cardboard, with dice, plastic pieces, and pencils on a table. We represent both. I'm Not Much 23.
And I'm ChoasAssassin.
And this is Gamer Experience.
Well, curious on how our last episode did. Got some feedback on our Discord channel, which is linked via our X, formerly known as Twitter.
Yeah.
Some people weren't exactly thrilled with it. They didn't like our explanations from what I read.
Let me check. Not really seeing much on the text channels.
Well, anyways, for those of our viewers, if you ever want to comment on any of our podcasts, you can always just either message us on X, formerly known as Twitter, at what is it?
At Gamer Experience, all lowercase.
And the other thing, we have our email, which is gamersperience@gmail.
Gmail.com, yep.
And if y'all want to join our podcast, we interact with those that are in it. If you have ideas or character stories, they're all there, so you can come join us there.
Gripes or complaints, but this episode is
music, wasn't it?
Yes, it's a quite integral part of the video gaming experience.
Indeed, it is. What would you say some of your favorite songs are? Like top 5 from specifically video games.
Top 5 favorite songs. I have my top 5 video games, but never really put the individual songs in a list.
Really? Well, what are some of the what's some of the games that you really enjoy the music of?
Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. Halo
that
1
does have a very nice soundtrack.
Yes. Along with Halo 1 and 2.
Another good soundtrack.
Sonic 2.
I never really played a lot of Sonic or Sonic 2. So I don't know much about their music scores.
And actually Planet Coaster.
I have no idea about any of those songs.
Don't blame me, but I really like Planet Coaster's soundtrack, especially the intro song.
Well, mine would probably have to be Zelda Twilight Princess is probably my favorite of any games I've played, and the music tracks. There's not any of the parts of specifically Twilight Princess that I don't just sit there and just want to listen to. But Zelda in itself also has fantastic music scores. I think when people think music and gaming, they're not thinking about Beat Saber.
Well, yeah.
I would think that they would think Zelda as far as iconic music. That or, basic, OG Mario.
Yeah, the song from the first level you ever play.
Dude.
And you're completing in your head right now.
Yeah.
It's so iconic, non-gamers know what that song is.
Yeah, and that says something. When certain music scores can transcend from the video game to those that aren't gamers. I think other than Mario, Zelda would probably be the only other one I can think of.
Yeah.
I've seen people who they don't know what Song of Storms is. They just like the sound of it, so they did a cover of it. How do you not know what Sound of Storms is? That's insulting to the fact that you've done a cover of it. What? But some of my others would probably have to be Metal Gear. Some of the songs in Metal Gear are really good. And I'd have to say my favorite would be Snake Eater from Metal Gear Solid 3.
Unfortunately, I haven't really played any of these games.
Yeah. Well, we were talking about, possibly, playing some clips for people, but sadly that would get us into copyright issues.
Oh yeah, especially Nintendo.
Mm-hmm.
As litigious as they are.
Which is funny because they go more after their image is more so than their soundtracks.
But I ain't taking that chance.
I'd rather not either.
Because
especially when this video ends up hitting to YouTube. Oh yeah, I forgot we had a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I'm behind there, but I really need to catch up and like stay like on the current episode because Google Podcast is going away and they're using YouTube Music to do that instead.
Joy. So soon, instead of seeing us on Google what?
Google
Music?
Podcasts.
Google Podcasts. See, come find us on YouTube at, what is it, the Gamer Experience Podcast?
Gamer Experience Podcast, no the. I
Ah,
don't think. Let me double check that.
better to be safe than sorry.
Yeah, just Gamer Experience Podcast. Like one song that a lot of Nintendo fans like is from Super Mario 64 Road to Bowser.
Um, I'm a Nintendo fan, but even I don't think I've known that. But I've never been a huge Mario person.
Mm. But tell you what, Super Mario Galaxy 2, in my opinion, has done the best rendition of that song.
I'd have to admit that of the Mario songs I have listened to, some of the best sounding actually have come from the Galaxy games.
Yeah, they use an orchestra to make all their music on there.
Yeah, which I find really impressive.
Yeah.
What other companies that have really iconic music? Because the only ones we've really named are mainly Nintendo, other than Halo, but Halo in itself is just a good music score.
Yeah, that's an orchestral soundtrack as well.
So, would that mean that soundtracks that have more orchestra, which I believe Twilight also had more of an orchestra type, would that make orchestra based albums of games better than others?
I think it tends to lend itself to more quality, but you don't need an orchestra to make great video game music.
Look at Tetris. That was what, on a 8-bit type of thing?
Yeah.
Now I'm sorry that for it being as repetitive as it is and just I'm sorry, that's actually a cool song. I just like listening to it. I don't know why. It's nice. Do 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 do. It's like, who comes up with that? Do you think whoever made that thought, hey, this song actually might, transcend you hear that and you instantly know Tetris. Like how awesome is that?
Well, I mean, I don't even know if they're alive anymore because the original Tetris designers were in Soviet Russia, which means they really didn't get like shit for money for making Tetris.
That's right. Aren't they making a Tetris movie where they're actually going to be going and like making a live action kind or a more of a what would it be? Historical kind of fiction?
I don't know.
I could have sworn I saw something about people were talking about like the origins of Tetris and they were making a movie about it or something.
Hmm. Of
I think
course,
that'd be kind of cool.
Illumination's also going to be making more Nintendo movies.
Yeah, I'm aware of the movies that are like they're rumors. I haven't really fact checked a lot of it because well, Nintendo's really good on keeping things hush hush.
Yeah,
Supposedly they're going to be making a Zelda movie.
that had better be cool.
Well, part of Netflix wanted to do a Zelda thing, and the gamers found out that I actually like Zelda, and kind of scared Netflix into not doing it.
Yeah, I don't trust
Because
Netflix with.
Netflix has such a great track record of making live action things out of anime and video games.
Yeah, especially the last Avatar: The Last Airbender.
It's so unfunny.
Yeah, I don't trust Netflix with any intellectual property.
To be fair, from what I hear, Netflix version of One Piece actually did well.
Of course, I wouldn't know because I don't have Netflix.
I used to a while back, but then they had their policy and now I can't access it again. Because I had a friend that I gave them HBO, they gave me Netflix. Still pretty sure they're still using my HBO, and I don't get their Netflix, so.
Okay, I think We should like pause recording, go to YouTube, listen to some of the music from the video games we both mentioned, and then come back and start talking about some of it.
Okay.
Okay, and we're back. So
Yeah, I took a quick break to hear each other's soundtracks. I gotta say, yours are. You can definitely tell that they were done by an orchestra
yeah.
more so than some of today's songs.
Yeah.
Well, looking on YouTube and it reminded me of how much I enjoy Skyrim music
Oh.
because if anybody who watches my Twitch knows, well, I stream a lot of Skyrim as well as Fallout 4, which I love the Fallout 4 music, but I can't say that I love like music from Fallout 4 because it's songs it themselves. So I don't know exactly how that works because they weren't made for it. They were, already made and added into the game, similar to how the songs are added in like Saints Row or GTA.
Oh, for like the radio stations.
Yeah, because that's what it is. It's a radio station in that.
Yeah, more
So
specifically.
would those be considered video game music?
Yes and no. I mean, it's music in the video game, but it's not music made for the video game.
Fair enough. What did you think of the songs that I mentioned?
I don't think I like them as much as you do, but I can hear why you like them.
You can see the appeal, but it's just
Yeah.
not your cup of tea.
Yeah, it's not my thing, but I do get the appeal.
Yeah. I'm not a huge fan of the Mario Galaxy. I mean, it's nice, but it's not my cup of tea. I will, however, admit that the old school Sonic music it's a vibe.
Yeah.
I could see myself listening to some of those tracks while playing some of the mind numbing games that I play, or just have it on as like background noise.
Now, there's actually those songs on their own, and then there's somebody that actually broke off the bass and percussion.
Nice. See, I think what makes specifically Twilight Princess's soundtrack as memorable and as good as it is something that a lot of people don't know. If you actually break down by the chords, there are repeating chords from song to song. They're just played at different tempos. For instance, in the intro, if you watch the entire intro of Twilight Princess, like the title screen, there is a section of the song that starts playing at a different tempo. One of my favorite songs in Twilight, which would be Midna's Lapent. It's played at a faster tempo, but if you look at the actual music score, it's part of that. And that's kind of how they do the music throughout the game, where they'll have bits and parts of songs within the songs. And it's just like a layering effect. So every song just fluidly can change from song to song.
But they still have unification.
Yes.
Yeah, I can get the appeal of that.
That's one of the things that people love Zelda for its music and gameplay, but not a lot of people like Twilight. But for me, and all of the Zelda games I've played, which has been, I've tried the original Zelda, Legends of Link, and I've tried from the N64 up, minus some of the DS and Game Boy games. So for the most part, most of mine has been primarily the 3D Zelda experience. Well, yes, a lot of songs are iconic, like Song of Healing, Sora's Song. They stick out as more of a singularity, whereas Twilight Princess just shines, in my opinion, as probably one of the best of the Zelda games for music scores.
What did you think of The Light in Us All from Planet Coaster?
Well, I've never played Planet Coaster, but I was thinking, oh, Planet Coaster, it's probably similar to like Thrillville, because I've played Thrillville off the rails for the Wii. So I was thinking, a little bit more kind of like rock more, but then it starts playing. It's like, wait a minute, this is like a lullaby kind of song. What the fuck? It threw me for a loop because I wouldn't think, with roller coasters are not, very soothing.
No.
They're meant to get your adrenaline up. So I would think it'd have a song that kind of pairs with it. but it's the exact opposite. So I'm intrigued by it, but it wouldn't be something I think I'd listen to regularly.
Hmm. So we have different tastes in music.
Yes, just like we have different tastes in games.
Yeah,
It's why we like looking at both sides.
yeah.
We both can agree that the other songs are nice, but they're just not our cup of tea. But we have enough respect with each other that we can see the appeal in each other's music choices.
But more importantly, how can music affect the experience?
I'm sorry, anybody who plays an RPG knows the moment it goes from this nice calming music to dun 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 dun, dun it's like, oh god, there's a boss fight. And there are some times that just like listening to certain music during certain things is just, it doesn't work. Like, one of the best examples is Midna's Lament starts when Midna's hurt and is literally on her deathbed. It is supposed to be a more sorrow and sad song. If you try to listen to that while doing an epic boss fight with Ganon, it it just wouldn't seem correct. It doesn't work with it.
So you need the right kind of music at the right time.
Yeah.
But if you get the right music at the right time, it can really enhance the experience.
Yeah. Like when I think, right music for right situations, the Pink Panther theme. I know it's not a video game, but if you're playing like a rogue, I can hear you just, having the Pink Panther song playing during a stealth section. Cuz if you're trying to go through a stealth section and all you hear is, Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train, that's not going to really ensue being stealthy. That just time for a headbanger.
Yeah, but apparently some. But when a powerful song comes in right when things are getting hard in a game,
That makes a huge difference.
that could give you a second wind.
Yes, I have had that happen, especially when it goes from one music score and then you get into the second boss fight. It's like, okay, this is a tough fight, and then that music hits like, oh, this is his second phase. The music gets more intense and just like more's at stake. And so I get that. I think it'd be really weird to play a lot of games without music. I know there are people out there that don't care for the music, but I physically could not play Zelda without the music.
No, I understand that. Just like I could not imagine playing Sonic 2 without the music, or Super Mario Galaxy.
Yeah. Well, just think playing, Sonic 2 with Mario music. Would you feel as you're going as fast as Sonic really is?
No.
I think that's the upside with a lot of the Sonic songs is they have a faster tempo, so it makes you feel like you're actually going faster.
That and the sound chip in the Genesis also has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Something I find interesting is somebody actually broke down Mario and Sonic's first levels. Like from the first time the first Sonic game and the first Mario Bros.
Yeah.
They calculated out the pixels and speedrun times and everything. And within the first level, distance per bit for like the distance and everything, Mario was actually faster than Sonic. Mario's board, I believe, was longer, but could still get to the pole faster than Sonic could, which I find really entertaining because when you play those games and watch the speedrun, it doesn't seem like that. But Mario will get there almost 2 to 3 seconds faster than Sonic. But it doesn't feel like that with the music.
Yeah, perhaps also the shorter levels makes it feel faster when you play as Sonic.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of the songs and a lot of music that it's as iconic as it is because they want it to have a little bit of nostalgia and more of replayability. I think that's where some games fall off is, well, yes, the games are fantastic, but sometimes if the music just isn't there or certain aspects aren't there, it drops the replayability. I can sit and play Twilight Princess over and over and over because the music helps make it really it's really nice. Whereas some games like Elden Ring, it's hard and I enjoy a hard game, but the music for it just not great in my opinion.
Of course, also believe that, especially Halo Combat Evolved, used music really well.
Yeah. I think music helps more than people just adding an ambiance to playing the game. I think it really does help enhance every aspect of the game, whether it be the seriousness, the mood, the replayability. Final Fantasy, for instance, has so much good songs that just help change various moods and help with storytelling.
Yeah. So music can be a really excellent and well done part of the gaming experience.
What are some examples of music not doing what it needs to do?
Oh, let's see if I can look up worst video game music ever.
No, that would be interesting. What music do you think would be really iconic? Like kids will they'll know it in like 5-10 years
From like
from video games. I think
from
Minecraft's a given because Minecraft targets everybody similar to how Nintendo does a lot of their things. So that and it's really peaceful for Minecraft. But like what other games that are from our time are kids going to just be listening to because it's good music?
define our time.
In the past 10-15 years.
10, 15 years. So it's like what, 2024? So from 2014 to 2009.
Although I say that, and yet most of the games I play are at least a decade old.
Yeah.
That might not be a good aspect for me to try to do, because now I think about it, it's like, wait a minute, if we try to go back to like 2014, when was Skyrim released again? I think that's one of my problems with music today, is I myself just enjoy older music. It's part of the reason I really do enjoy a lot of like the Fallout radios,
Yeah.
because I'm sorry, Crawl Out Through the Fallout. That's a good song. I don't know why I like it. I really don't. But I like it. Big Iron from what is it New Vegas or 3? I don't know yet. I just recently got New Vegas and 3, and so far 3 is kicking my ass.
Hmm.
So I gotta look up, okay, beginner tips, because I'm so used to playing Fallout 4, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I asked him, okay, so I got these. Which do you think I should go with? He's like, you gotta go with 3 because that way I'll have more respect for New Vegas. Like, all right, I'll go with 3, and then he laughed at me. So I'm gonna make him give me some good pointers. I'm hoping to clear up my schedule to where I can actually start streaming that again. Because I think that'd be kind of interesting, having a blind Fallout 3 run.
Yeah.
Probably gonna fuck shit up.
I think
Yeah.
Super Mario Galaxy is a really good contender.
It's like one of them sleeper albums where it's good, just people just don't know how good it is.
Yes.
I could see that with the Mario Galaxies. I really can.
And of course
I think Zelda would also be a good contender, just due to the fact of how iconic the game is. But I would think it'd be more of some of the songs that originated in Ocarina of Time more than anything.
Of course, the Halo theme is probably going to be the most iconic music to ever come from the Xbox.
Yeah. Honestly, if you really think about it, I think Xbox has done the worst when it came to like their exclusives actually having good music.
I think Xbox has done the worst for their exclusives being good games, to be honest.
I think the only one. Oh no, that's not even that wasn't even an exclusive. That was Bungie's exclusive for Minecraft. I mean, now they bought it, but I think Halo is the only one that's good. Whereas if we go look at PlayStation or Sony, they've got Metal Gear for good music scores.
Square Enix.
I know there's a lot of people that like some of the Crash Bandicoot games.
Ah, yeah, not Naughty Dog.
Yeah. I think the best would probably have to be Nintendo. I
Yeah,
swear they have like an orchestra just sitting in a room's like, all right, we're working on this game. We need music because think of like some of the Metroid soundtracks.
never
I
really
I
heard many of those.
I can't think of a Nintendo game that does not have good music. And I think part of the reason they focus so much on having good music is their target audience is children.
And children respond more to music.
Yeah, because I mean, I love Pokemon, but I think of like the main Nintendo games, which would be like Mario, Metroid, Zelda, Pokemon. I think Pokemon lacks on some of the music, at least in the newer games versus older games.
Yeah, definitely.
Because when I think music, I'm thinking like Game Boy, but that's because that's most of my nostalgia. I'm curious of how much of our things are biased due to our nostalgia.
That's a really good question. Because, like, we don't really remember the really bad shit. And
Mm-mm.
that's part
We
of the survivorship bias.
Yeah, part of the reason I'm like one of the first Zelda games I played and beat was Wind Waker. Wind Waker had a fantastic soundtrack, but when I got to play Twilight, I went through a lot of stuff in my life, and I think that's part of the reason I like Twilight as much as I do because it was also that it was a darker and more edgier game, but it took what normally was lighthearted and it really like if you failed, the entire world wasn't just destroyed, it was sent into darkness. And people didn't even know what was happening. One minute they're walking around, the next there's monsters everywhere. There was no explanation. There was no black cloud that rolled in so you knew something bad was coming. It just happened.
Oh.
Yeah. That and I love the art style of it. I really do. I think my favorite Zelda game would be Twilight Princess, partially because wolves are my favorite animal and you can turn into a wolf in that. So part of my love from wolves comes from the fact that my dad loved them, and we when we went to like zoos and animal sanctuaries, he'd always tell me interesting little facts about wolves.
Oh.
One of the fondest memories I have with that is we went to one that you could actually take things of meat and you could hide it within the thing, and the wolves would then come out and hunt for the food that we would hide, and we got to do that, and that was amazing.
Oh, I bet it was.
Some people don't realize wolf fur is not exactly that soft. It is very coarse.
Well, I mean, I've never. There's very few of us have actually felt wolf fur.
I have, because part of the thing is we could actually pet one of the wolves because well, yes, it was a wild animal, it had become more domesticated, similar to how Steve Irwin could handle certain animals and would be really nice in public because he knew how to handle him and they trusted him.
Yeah.
That's similar to the thing with the wolf.
Oh. So that's one reason why you like Twilight Princess, because you could
Yes.
turn into a wolf.
Yeah.
You're not a.
And it was a different mechanic for between any of the other games.
Hmm.
There were parts that you had to do while being a wolf that it instead of just solely being item based, you had to, do things as something else, which I think helps with with certain games.
But it's not quite the same as the Ocarina of Time, where in one of the temples you had to do half of it as a child and the other half as an adult Link.
So take that aspect of it and throw it to the entire game. That's kind of what Twilight was. There were sections you had to do as a wolf, but you could go back and forth later on, and so that's part of it.
Hmm.
So they took that aspect from Ocarina and just instead of being old Link and young Link, it was Wolf Link and Human Link.
I might have to watch a playthrough of that.
If you want, I can send you some links of people that I enjoyed in their playthroughs of it.
Okay. But
So what did Google say was some of the worst music scores for video games?
Extreme Paint Brawl.
Never heard of it.
I was listening to some of it, and there's pretty good reason why you haven't heard of the music.
Got it.
Of course, I'd play that so we could all hear how bad this is, but it'd probably get
Copyright.
copyright claim just so the people that made it don't have to face their shame.
Well, we're two nobodies attempting to do a podcast, so if we were somebody's maybe, but now we're two nobodies. Out of curiosity, did we get any sort of emails?
I don't believe we did. Let me double check. No.
Come on. No?
No.
Darn. Come on, viewers, you got to send us emails or something. We were planning on doing some sort of character stories, but I'm running out of stories. Partially because I just don't have time to play games anymore. Or at least not Pathfinder or D&D. After the holidays started up, the D&D games I was in fell apart. Like it typically does in around the holiday season.
But they haven't started up yet.
Due to conflicting work schedules, it appears that it won't be starting up again until work schedules get readjusted again.
Of course, I want to run a Starfinder game. Kind of got started as Session 0, but really haven't actually started playing.
Same issue in scheduling conflict.
Yeah.
We either have people that start really early in the morning, and those that start early get off, late, and then the others, well, they start late, and so it just half the group is on nighttime, the other half is during early morning. So there's no, and even the days off are funky. So it's not helping. Like for my D&D game, the GM for it, or DM, because technically it's D&D that we were playing, he gets off sometime around 9 p.m. And me and one of the other players, we work at like 5 a.m. So we're in bed at like 9.
I think we should save that for another episode.
Scheduling conflicts of D&D?
Or just time to play, which would include things like scheduling conflicts.
I think we could put that in probably next month's episode.
Well, I thought next month was going to be gaming pet peeves too.
Oh, yeah, no, we can. Well, I mean, that's technically part of a gaming pet peeve, scheduling conflict.
Yeah.
So stay tuned for next month's episode of Pet Peeves 2.
Yeah.
Maybe we can get somebody else to weigh in on their pet peeves of gaming.
Yeah.
We'll have to ask some of our previous guests.
Yeah. And of course, if you have any pet peeves, complaints, or gripes, or things that piss you off about gaming, or as well as any comments or character stories or anything you'd like to tell us, direct messages are open on X, formerly known as Twitter, at GamerSperience, all lowercase.
I'd like to actually know what some of our viewers' favorite video game songs and tracks are.
That too. And of course,
I'm sorry, I'm looking for other music to listen to. If our viewers have songs that y'all really enjoy that's specifically from video games, message what they are, or send links to us via and join our podcast channel on Discord. Send it in. I'll take a listen. And if I like it, I'll let y'all know in the next episode.
Also, gamersperience@gmail.com. Again, all lowercase.
Yep.
I do have a correction, a pretty big one from last episode.
Oh?
All but one of what we refer to as glitches were really bugs.
Really?
Yes.
So what would be the difference between a glitch and a bug?
A glitch is a temporary error in the interpretation or an error in the in compiling the game code. And it's usually temporary, and once you reset something, the glitch goes away. But a bug is a mistake actually in the code and is repeatable.
Oh.
I think the only actual glitch then we had in that episode is that one cutscene where there was a chance that fall protection would not...
Yeah, a new hand touches the beacon. Wonder how many people I just triggered their PTSD with that statement.
Yeah, but since it's temporary and only has a small chance of happening, that is a glitch. But that glitch will actually create a bug.
Interesting. So where technically, while yes, they were glitches, due to the fact that they are easily repeatable, they are considered bugs instead of glitches.
Yeah, glitches are errors in running the code. Bugs are errors that are actually written into the code itself.
Oh,
Like the fact that steep slopes, you gain more speed going downhill than vertical slopes in Roller Coaster Tycoon 2.
it's technically a bug in the coding.
Yes, it's a bug.
Oh, learn something new every day.
Yeah, I just really needed to make that correction.
Hey,
Yeah,
at least we're admitting we're wrong. I would have never. I would have thought bugs were more of a issue that everybody has. That instead more of. Well, honestly, I kind of use it interchangeably. Glitch and a bug just depends on if it's good or bad.
yeah, but that's the technical definition. And like, I think it's like 1 or 2 days after we record, it's like, fuck. Most of what we call glitches were actually bugs.
Oh, hey, and honestly, I think bugs and glitches are kind of two sides of the same coin. It's errors and stuff, whether it be within the coding or running the coding. It just is it when it's ran or when it's there.
Yeah.
Either way, it fucks your gaming experience.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a negative part of the gaming experience. And with that, I'm Not Much 23.
And I'm Chaos Assassin.
And this is Gamer Experience.
And we invite you to have your own gamer experience.